nice to have you guys all back. So we're going to be doing a game week 3 review and a game week 4 preview um, for fantasy football. How was the international break for you guys? Did you guys do much research or just relaxed and put everything off?
With the
I had the
transfers
England
ready.
games on. Okay, that sounds more interesting than my story of just sitting back, watching Harry Kane's 100 England games, scoring a brace, taking it easy, no fantasy football to worry about. But since you made your transfers, I gotta listen to this
Yeah.
now. Let's
No,
hear it.
I've,
You've been
I
monitoring
haven't.
those price rises.
I made the transfers before any of the international games even happened. I think it was the Tuesday after that game. I was like, wow. The best part is I missed all the price rises. I made my changes after. So I said I couldn't afford. I literally one or two players I think moved by 0.1 or have not been able to afford any of the transfers. So I said, okay, I have to whack it now. I
Oh,
have no
wow.
choice. So I went extremely risky, which is very against my typical behavior. But I said, gotta get Salah, man.
I'm glad you did though, because I finally overtook you in our league. Did
Yeah,
you see that?
I did. I said,
That's
gotta get Salah. I said, like, I can't survive without him. It's ridiculous to go that way.
it's bold to go so quickly. I once I decided not wildcarding. I didn't even consider making any transfers until now.
I thought about wildcarding, but I said I've got the two frees, so I said let me just whack it and get my team to a bit more of a stable ground. I
Let's
can sleep a little bit better at night when Salah plays now.
let's go into our first segment and what prompted you to get make those transfers is probably our meme of the week for this week. Um, Double up on uh,
God,
Smith Rowe and Rogers in the midfield.
pain.
um,
Absolute pain. I mean, on paper they look like such good players, and like their positions that they take up, amazing. Yes, returns wise. I mean, at least Smith Rowe got a goal in game week 2, but your Rogers has been pain, man. So much pain.
but they kind of the opposite if you think about it. Rogers gets into good positions. He looks lively. Smith Rowe actually
Yeah,
he either scores or he's missing. That's what it
yeah, that's
feels
actually
like.
true.
Because I ended up watching the Fulham game, and I saw because I was very upset with their striker because I was I tripled up on Fulham,
Oh, the triple up Fulham. I can understand. I can
but
understand.
Traore was the best player for Fulham.
Yeah,
I guess that Robertson was actually really good as well. Um, but to be honest, Jimenez looked much better when he came on, which is
yeah,
actually frustrating me. I want to move up my players. I was also thinking about a wild card after this game week, and particularly this was painful for you because you had both, but particularly more painful because the other midfielders did so well. All like a lot of midfielders um,
that's true.
came in clutch for their teams. We'll we'll go into the game of the team of the week and we'll discuss some of those players. And I'm sure one of the midfielders Razine is dying to get through is Umbuemo. You made the move.
How's that for a
What a top
transfer,
move.
boys?
What a top
How's
move.
that for a transfer? And
Absolute
and you
top
know,
move.
the meme of the week doesn't hurt me too much this week, solely because of the fact that I got Mbomo in, and also because of how little minutes Nkunku played. I think he played like 3 or 4 minutes,
Yeah,
and even though Smith didn't perform, Mbomo really he did it full through for me. And I'm looking at my fixtures for next week, and my midfield seems pretty set, so I'm not too worried about that.
yeah. No, we'll get through all the action soon. Like just to quickly run through the team of the week. Surprisingly, like I think the so Eze's made it there. We waiting on him to get points. All of us don't have
Yeah.
him, so all of us were hoping he'd never get points. But it was due time, and hopefully Rogers will get that as well. I'm sure.
Mm.
A lot of talk about Aston Villa's left back Luka Dean.
Yeah.
He's on the list.
Popular on the socials.
Yeah, popular on social. Like I'm still reserved about him in the sense that I don't think he's nailed on for minutes. I think that's more pain waiting to happen.
Yeah, you're right.
um,
But his
have,
price is going up tonight if you guys are interested in him.
very
I'm not taking
unlikely
a
for
-4
my.
for that guy. Yeah, I'm not taking a hit for that. Not for
I
a
was just
defender. No
monitoring the
chance.
price changes today, and Mitoma and Dean are going up tonight. Odegaard and Saka going down, and Kwanzaa might be going down again. So we really need to chat about my defense in a little bit.
Why did I miss something? Like, why is Saka going down? Like, is he injured or?
I think everyone's going to Salah at the moment, and Saka's the easier shift from. And I think they've got Spurs and City in the next two, so I think people are feeling that if you move him onto Salah, he's the most affordable one where you don't really damage the rest of your team.
I don't know. I still wouldn't
As
sell
you
Saka.
should did, Mohamed Hussein.
That's exactly what I did.
Ooh.
You're the responsible one, yeah.
Yeah. So
Um,
like my thing is that is Saka going to be a bigger goal threat than Salah most weeks? Probably not. So that's the risk I went for. And I said Arsenal fixtures don't look great. I think after game week 6 it looks a little bit better. So we have to maybe try and consider a wild card around then. But I think for now,
This
but you're
man is
gonna,
part of the problem. He's part of the reason why Saka is going down in price tonight, bro.
but against Spurs, you're willing to drop Saka.
no, I'm not. But I'm willing to gain on the Salah upside, which I think will be
Yeah.
significantly better. I
No,
mean, he's just looked so good. I mean,
long term, yeah,
yeah.
long term,
I
I think it's the better move. Particularly if you're gonna have one, then I think Salah is the better long term move at this point. Particularly
mm,
with the injury problems, the suspension, and all of that Arsenal are going through. Um,
everything
quickly,
comes through soccer anyway,
mm,
and that's what
mm,
actually it hurt a little bit, but I said it's got to be done, bruh. And then watch
yeah.
a Salah blank this week is gonna just that's gonna
I'll
make my
leave
week.
I'll leave Salah's performance against United for later. But do you guys know where Salah was this past weekend?
It was Botswana, was it not?
He was literally down the road from us in Botswana. He
Oh,
played and
nice.
scored in a 4-0 win just day before yesterday. And he's taking an 18-hour flight back to Liverpool, I think, today or yesterday. So it's going to be difficult for him. I don't know if his minutes might be managed, but I was a bit gutted about the fact that he was up the road and I didn't go and see him. But yeah, Salah was very, very close by, I guess.
Yeah, no, I was keeping tabs on him. He's probably one of the only footballers I follow on socials, like that I follow, like check where he is and everything.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, like I knew he was in Botswana. It is long journeys, but they're used to it, and he's quite a good professional. I think he'll be fine.
But with Chiesa training for 2 weeks to make his debut, do you think maybe he doesn't get 90 this weekend, Salah?
No, I don't
Or
think he'll
is
get
that
90.
no doubt?
I don't think he'll get 90, but I don't think he'll
Yeah.
he'll come off if we not cruising, unless he's particularly having a bad game.
Which I doubt
Yeah, yeah.
if
No,
he
I
isn't.
don't. Yeah, I don't see him not starting either. But it's just worth like keeping an eye on, you know. But yeah, definitely someone who's going to be talked about a lot. Maybe even in the
mm,
captaincy discussion a bit later.
Yeah, it's such a really good point. I never even thought about it. Um, just to finish off the team of the week, just to talk about Mo Musim, you mentioned Davis. I think he's the right back at, or the left back at Ipswich. He's
yeah.
got a 7 points. He features on the list. We also he's also at 4.5, and when we talk about it later, Ipswich got a good run in, so he might be worth a look at. And then Calvert
Yeah, and I
Lewin,
think one of the other
mm,
defenders that's also I think it's Greaves or something, who's
yeah,
one of their center backs and
really
stuff.
tall guy. Yeah,
Yeah, he might
he
also be worth it if it's worth a punt for like a
He-
4.0
He's
sitting on
four,
your
yeah.
bench.
So he's 4.0, yeah. I definitely think if you still got Barco like me, just a quick
Yeah,
swap.
it's worth it. It's a worthwhile switch. Yeah,
Yeah. The other one, Calvert Lewin, is features on the list 5.9. It's a good price point for an Everton forward. And I watched that game as well. The Everton Bournemouth game, and Everton were really good for the most part.
for for 88 minutes, for 87
Yeah.
minutes.
They
Then
were
it
they
fell
were
apart very quickly.
they were
Wow.
really good. Yeah, they just such a bad defense. It's not even that they fell apart. They're
Yeah.
just such a bad defense. Um, that it was just like I don't trust them. I don't trust them
Mm,
at any minute at any time.
yeah.
um, quickly we'll move on to the next team. And this we're going into this fabulous Five Guys team, the number one in the Super Sport broadcasting thing. I don't know. I'm invested in this guy's team now. It's just every week
He's
he
gonna
does
be one to
something.
follow for the season. Yeah.
Yeah, every week he does something crazy. The first week he bench boost. Second week he wildcarded.
Mm.
Third week he didn't captain Haaland. After
Bomo.
wildcarding
Wow,
for Haaland, he captained Burmo.
that's wild.
He had Salah, he had Haaland, and he captained Burmo. And I mean, he could have got caught out.
It could have been really bad, but I mean,
Yeah,
it worked out okay because he had all three, right? Which,
that's the thing. Yeah. So he did lose points. We all three beat him, I think. So we gained on the number one rank, which is a good thing in my eyes.
yeah.
Always a good sight. So
Oh, I
um,
equaled him. Look at me thriving. What a week.
but if you look at his team, like he's got Harry Winks on the bench. I mean, Harry Winks playing as a necessity. So I don't foresee him going far.
Well, it's
Uh,
Winks and Bednarek at the moment that play for him, right? Which is unfortunate. And he doubled up on Spurs defense with
defense,
Vicario and Van de Ven. So,
yeah. And
oh,
Van de Ven
shame he's
didn't
got
play.
Steele, and he's got Steele who doesn't play
That's
for
the
Brighton
thing.
anymore because Van Bergen
Yeah,
is back. Yeah,
yeah.
it's rough.
It's rough. Yeah. I'll jump into my team quickly. Actually, I have Rizine, I have your photo on my team. I don't know why. Um, I'll let's see if I can fix that quickly. Um, but yeah, so my game week, I got 87 points, uh Captain Haaland, hat trick, I guess. Um, okay, yeah, I think that's a bit better. Um, but no real big things for my team. I didn't do much. I rolled my transfer, and finally Isak got a goal
Yeah, returned as expected.
as expected. Um, about time. Um, I guess the main downfall for me was just the um,
Bruno Fernandes has to be Bruno
it has to
Fernandes
be Bruno
as
Fernandes.
a whole. As a whole,
He's
yeah, he's
I
been
don't
the
know. I don't know what to do with him, to be honest, because I'm actually, so from my point of view, I haven't made another transfer, meaning I'll probably have three transfers uh come next week, because I'm not going to move Fernandez, and I'll just say, like, Southampton's defense is even worse than Everton's,
yeah.
so there's really no point moving Fernandez across at this point in time. Um, the I want to move Fernandez, but I want to move this Fulham striker as well. And I'm thinking about
Yeah.
Smith Rowe, but I'm not convinced just yet. I need to move Hall as well, so I might as well give Fulham another go, another chance. And my plan, like, I want to move Hall to another Liverpool defender. I want to get Konate in, but I need to free up funds.
Mm.
So I might need to sacrifice Porro this week and then do a Porro and Hall this week and then do a double swap maybe next week. I don't know. I'm very much confused because I don't want Fernandez long term. So
Mm.
I can't swap all four of them without a wild card. That's why I was thinking about wildcarding last for
Yeah,
this week. But
but I think there's better fixtures coming in the next couple of game weeks to give us up just a little bit of extra time to think. Because I think a game week for wildcard doesn't set you up as long term as you want. Where around 6 and 7, I think the fixtures turn for a few teams. I think Arsenal's fixtures get really good. Brentford's fixtures get really good as well. So
yeah,
I don't think like Burmo is actually a bad a bad switch for Fernandes team because now Tony definitely gone. It becomes very appealing at
yeah,
his price as well, right? And you can probably use that money to upgrade Hall quite comfortably if you want, or even if you want to pop Muniz up to. I mean, you can even do Muniz to like a João Pedro or Welbeck or something. Because
that,
the
that
Brighton
that's
still look decent as well.
Brighton got a good two fixtures coming up, and
Mm,
then so I might go with João Pedro. What stopped me was this international break, but I actually don't think it's going to make
yeah,
that big of a difference.
same. Most guys are coming back reasonably okay. There hasn't
Yeah,
been many alarms besides the Oaks traveling from far.
yeah. Um,
Did you
s-
expect Semenyo to do so well 3 weeks in a row?
I expect him to do well this week. I thought he'll blank against Newcastle, but I expect him to do well this week just because of the team he was playing.
And now
Like,
you're backing him against Chelsea and Liverpool.
Mm.
I
But
might,
his numbers have been great, huh? Well,
yeah.
I read a stat in the week. He's got the most shots and I think the highest goals involvement. Um, what's it call him in the past three game weeks? He's up there, ranks out of, and I mean like he's competing with the likes of Haaland and Salah and stuff. His numbers are crazy at the moment, which is
It's
Wow.
because
interesting.
he gets into really dangerous positions. But that other striker that they replaced Solanke with played against Everton started didn't look good at all.
No, he
Um,
didn't.
so I think they're going to rely more on Semenyo. Uh, like I think he's going to be a guaranteed starter, and I think his minutes are good. So for me, there's
Yeah,
no hurry to sell. Like he was meant to be a rotation with Smith Rowe, and Hall was supposed to be playing. But now Hall is out. So once I get the team up and running, uh, hopefully then I can even bench Semenyo if needed. I don't think I'd
yeah.
want to play him against Liverpool, but worst case, then I play him. It's not as
He
he
looks
should
like the
get
main. He
minutes.
looks like the main outlet at the moment
Yeah,
for anything that good comes through Bournemouth comes through him. So I think
yeah,
he's worth it.
definitely. Um, no, nothing else for my team. I'll go on to Razine's team, and Razine, I'll just need to fix your camera as well. But you can slowly talk through your team with us. And
Yeah, so Flecken and Henderson in goal. Yeah, I'm very disappointed about that still. I'm still looking to get a premium goalkeeper in. The rotation just hasn't worked for me, but it's my defense that's really letting me down. I mean, even with Salah and Haaland both in my team and Isaac and Mbomo powering through with the points. My defense has let me down, which is 3 points from the three players combined. Pedro Porro and Saliba, I'm happy with, but I need to do something about these cheap defenders. I'm going to keep Howard Bellis most probably, but Kwanzaa has got to go. I think today is the day Kwanzaa goes. You guys can give me your suggestions, otherwise I'm just going to put the first player I find in because I've already lost zero point 0.2 million on him, and I don't want to lose another zero point 0.1 on him. And yeah, that's the transfer I'm making this week, 100%. I'm happy with my midfield. I'm happy to stick with Rogers and Smith Rowe just one more week, see what happens there. And then obviously Salah and Madison's been good, even though in the last game he didn't really get the points. But I'm happy with keeping him for a little bit longer and Isaac and Haaland up top. For me, this week is just about who to bring in for Kwanzaa and who to put the captaincy on for next week. So if you guys can answer those two questions for me, then I'm good to go.
so, Kwanzaa, I think like we'll go through a lot more options, but I'm looking at Ipswich mostly for cheap defenders, and we'll go through why as well. Captaincy,
But I have a million in the bank. I definitely need to upgrade him because I can't be stuck with 3, 4 million defenders
go
in my
Yeah,
team.
no, no,
go
definitely.
go for Liverpool, go for Konate. Stay with
Is
Liverpool at the
he is
moment.
he is he 5 million?
He's five
With my
million,
luck, if
yeah.
I put Konate in, Kwanzaa will be back in the team.
I um
I think
I
with Champions League starting, what do you think the rotation's going to be like there at centre back?
I think
I
they're both gonna definitely get game time.
no, I think just based on Konate's performances, he's really been good. Um, I think like the defenders, he's not. I don't know about like Pep rotates. I don't know about Slot, but as far as most managers go, they wouldn't break up a good center back partnership that quickly.
Yeah.
But we have Milan in midweek. You don't think maybe he rests a few
Trent
players for that game?
Trent Trent and Robertson are more likely to lose game time than
Mm.
Van Dijk and Konate. That's what I think
But
personally.
it just feels. I don't think I would go Kwanzaa to Konate just because of the fact that what if, you know? I'd rather
Yeah.
go someone who's nailed, who's not playing in Europe.
Um, I guess we can. We'll look at options as we go along. We'll go through.
Yeah,
I got
for
I got
sure.
a long program plan for us. So I got a few games to go through, and we got a fixture, not a fixture list, but a grading difficulty list for the teams, and we can pick a few from there.
Okay, done.
Um, we can go on to Mohamed Wasim, your team. I just got to fix your camera as well, but you,
Yeah,
you got
I don't
hard
know.
done
My
by.
my game week my game week felt so painful, especially like with Liverpool scoring three and Jota just coming back with a clean sheet was quite painful, to be honest. I expected a little bit better, but I mean, he also didn't feel that dangerous in that game. He was just like there and there about, but I mean, all the magic came through Diaz and Salah, which was quite sad. But I mean, finishing on 74 didn't feel so bad. But it was nice to, I guess, get some returns from Isak as well, which was good. Saka, even though he got the assist, was at least something to take away from the game. Rogers and Smith Rowe doing the doing the business there with their twos. And it was actually nice to get something from Henderson as well. So I think he made 6 saves in the game. So it was nice to get something in that Chelsea game. Mateta has been very disappointing since I brought him in. So it's quite a sad one because it was. I think I wanted to do Nkunku early to Eze, then I didn't have the funds because Google's price fell through the floor. It's probably going to go to zero soon, so I'm not looking forward to that. But I guess I made my changes early. So the thing is, my initial plan was get Mateta out because I mean Palace have looked okay, but not that great. So I said, okay, let's try and get him out and then look to replace him with João Pedro. So I mean, getting a Brighton forward in there, but I just couldn't afford the Saka to Salah then. So I had to take the risk and sacrifice Isak. So I did Isak to João Pedro, then Saka to Salah from there. So um, it's going to be
Hey,
quite a
so you're going
tight
into
one.
this week with Nkunku still.
Yes, yes, on the bench, on the bench. Rogers Smith Rowe double up is continuing for another week.
uh,
Or I have this hope that some of the guys that travel with the England team maybe get a rest and Kunku starts. So I might risk starting him maybe this week. I haven't really thought about it. I'm hoping there's some injuries that come in Chelsea, but I mean they've got about 30 to 40 players to choose from, so it does make it complicated.
yeah, but exactly
Bilal,
what you
shall
said.
we captain Isaac against Wolves this week?
No,
I I hope he gets a red card
I
to
wouldn't.
justify my change.
I wouldn't. I think just based on like us, like just playing it safe. I think captaincy is gonna stay with Haaland. Just
Yeah,
after what he's going through, I wouldn't. I wouldn't want to go anywhere else.
No,
it's
definitely.
hard to
Haaland's
it's
the
hard to look
safest
anywhere
decision.
else. Right?
Yeah.
But it's hard to not look at Salah as well, right? At,
Yeah,
at this
but
time
I
between
think with
him
what
and
what Razine said about the flights, um,
oh yes,
and
yes, you're right.
m- ma- uh, and I think Forest, to be honest, Forest looking decent as
They look a
well.
little bit more stable, yeah.
Yeah,
But like Salah is like the type of player that comes and unsettles steady defenses. So
yeah. It just takes one penalty, and then he'll probably get an assist and a goal or somewhere else, and then
yeah,
then you if if Haaland doesn't score a hat trick, you feel like Salah will outscore him
correct, correct.
that
That's
week.
true. But they both play at the same time, so at least it won't be as painful waiting for the other guy to play the next time. So it
The
makes
next
me
one, yeah.
feel
We're
less more
gonna
interested.
we're gonna do
But
something
doesn't that
more.
make you want to captain someone who's playing in the North London derby or no?
Not at all. Not at all. Because it's very hard to know which way it'll swing. So with with Spurs, especially in the last two North London derbies, I mean, as much as we drew and lost, we never looked great in both games. And with Arsenal's injuries, it's very hard to know if Arsenal will really turn up or Arteta might play very similar to how he went and played against City and park 11 men behind the ball, which might be a consideration. But I mean, he'd be stupid if he does that. I think with the high line we play, if you just keep Martinelli and Saka on the halfway line, you'll probably see a lot of joy against us. So I don't know. It's going to be a
Bound to
tough
be a
one.
good game. It's going to be
Yeah,
a good game to watch
it'll
from a
be a good game
neutral
to watch. I think so.
perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, we're going into something new. We're gonna look more at football and fantasy at this point. We're just gonna go through each of the games from the last game week and just discuss some certain points that might feel important to note and to look at as a team going like particularly for the teams going forward. Up, I got the Arsenal versus Brighton game, which ended 1-1. I don't know if you guys caught this game. A lot of things happened, particularly for Arsenal,
Yeah.
even after the game. So it's a big note. to like it's a big thing to a big thing to discuss Arsenal at the moment. Rice got a red card. Definitely think it was a red card. Don't know
Yeah,
why he
no,
had to
me
go
too.
and do that.
And I understand why they felt unfairly treated because there were other moments where other players did the same thing and weren't
But yeah, but
punished for
it's
it. But I mean, it's that's a consistency issue. Doesn't mean the foul wasn't
yeah.
warranted or the yellow card wasn't warranted. The
Mm.
second yellow, rather.
Think it was a red card from my side. Like
Yeah.
when I took a look at it, and the interesting point is we discussed it last week. We discussed Martinelli's performances and that he may not start,
Mm,
and Trossard started.
yeah.
Unfortunately, he didn't get many minutes um, because of the red card, and then Kai Havertz with the goal, Saka with the assist. Like both are looking good. Um,
Really good.
Raya
Yeah.
Raya got a yellow, which was good for us. Conceded and a yellow for the
Yeah.
at the time the top goalkeeper. But Brighton looked good as well. And I think
But only after the red card, though. I
only
mean,
after the
I
cut.
watched a lot of I watched a lot of the first half, and they were very passive, very
Mm,
passive when they played against. Let Arsenal keep the ball, and I mean, they're the type of team that plays a little bit more extravagantly. They only started playing, I guess, reasonably well. Maybe start of the second half when they got a little bit more on it, and after the red card, I mean, they dominated
yeah.
a lot of the game afterwards.
Um, yeah. Just
You
from
guys
fantasy point.
mentioned Mante a
Yeah.
couple of weeks ago. He got the assist this week.
Yeah,
I don't know, is he passing that eye test when you're watching the
he's a
games?
fire, man. That
He
guy is a
looks
fire,
good.
bruh.
Yeah. He looks
I
good.
love watching him.
He looks
But
good.
he's one of those that he needs a better end product. I think at times his decision making can be a little bit dodgy, where there's good opportunities to probably find a teammate. He takes a shot from an unreasonable angle at times. So he probably just need a little bit of he needs to go to finishing school a little bit. But I think he's a decent option for the price that he's at. I mean, if you want to if you want to free up some money or you want to move a cheap midfielder at that price, I think between him and Semenyo, I think at that lowerish price, I think they're very appealing. Semenyo is about like six or something, isn't
No,
he?
he's 5.5,
Oh,
5.6 now.
5.5. Yeah, yeah,
5.6,
yeah.
The,
So
yeah.
him and Minte are around the same price.
yeah, the difference between the two is Minte is more of a minutes risk, where Semenyo is more of a
Yes,
guaranteed minutes. But
hundreds.
Minte is playing in a better team. You expect
Yes,
Brighton to score more goals than Bournemouth, so
yeah,
you pick your poison from that point of view.
yeah,
Um,
And then Monte's next two games are better than Semenyo's next two games. Monte's
yeah,
got, I think, Ipswich and I was checking Ipswich and Forest in his next two. And
yeah,
then
that's
it gets
decent
difficult
fixtures.
again.
So what they've been saying, and I read a stat this week. Ipswich, if there's right wingers playing against their left back, their returns have been actually quite reasonable. Every right winger that's played against them has gotten a return. So the left side of their defense is not as stable as it could be. So I think that's where people have been seeing opportunity. I think that's why he's also, if his price does go up, there's a bit of popularity around him because of the fixture as well.
okay. Didn't know that at all. Like, it's very niche reading. Um, we'll go into the next game. Brentford versus Southampton. So, I don't know if you guys caught this game. I watched this game. It was quite
I
painful to
did, yeah.
watch.
Yeah,
Like,
it was.
if you look at the graphic that's up here, that E that's above all three Southampton defenders, each one stands for an error that led to a goal, and each defender caused one error that led to a goal. And if you watch it, to be honest, it looked like all of them were to blame all the time. They kept passing it between them. They didn't know what they were doing. It was quite painful to watch.
Game. No,
um,
they don't look good. Southampton really don't
yeah.
look good. I think they looked good in the initial couple of games where they seemed reasonably solid at the back. In this game, they looked absolutely horrendous.
Yeah, and like when so I actually went back to watch the game because
Mm.
I didn't watch it live, and I saw Mbeumo scored twice, Vista, and I was like, are Bradford really playing well? Are these
Yeah.
options? But when I watched it back, it was just like I'm still not convinced. Like I like Mbeumo, he probably is still a good pick, safe pick, but it's not going to make me rush to get him because it wasn't
Yes.
like they were on fire. It was just really bad defending.
Yeah, but I mean, what makes him appealing also is he's on pins and stuff
That's the
as
thing,
well. So
yeah. That's the thing.
And especially with that Kevin Schade fellow, who's, I think is a reasonably decent dribbler. Um, Potential chances of them picking up penalties in the bar.
Yeah,
I think they got a decent amount last season because every time you used to hear Burmo taking penalties just randomly here and there when Tony was out. So I think it does make him attractive. One of the players that interests me was Flecken from the team because I mean he makes a reasonable amount of saves in games. I mean
mm,
at a 4.5 price, I think he's a little bit better than I guess some of the other options if you still want to go cheap. But I guess going cheap at this point in time has been painful over the past few
yeah,
weeks for us. So I need to consider someone a little bit more expensive.
yeah. But I think just to stick with Brentford, like Vissa as an option in the future is still there
Yeah,
as a cheap forward, not to be overlooked. Because they are lethal. They do
yeah.
get goals and they are good finishers. So just one to keep note of. Next,
I considered him when I tried
yeah,
doing the Isak one, and then funds just became tighter than they should have been.
yeah.
So you ended
Um,
up going with João Pedro, you said.
João Pedro, yeah,
for funds, yeah.
Okay.
it's the only other reasonably trustable option at the moment.
The
Yeah, he's been good. Did you
next
guys see
game.
that Adam
Oh, sorry.
Lallana got the assist for Southampton against Brentford? He played just a couple of minutes. And yeah, I like keeping an eye on former Liverpool players. I was quite delighted for him.
Uh, I didn't notice I didn't know he moved to them until he came on.
Mm.
Yeah,
So
same.
interesting to
But I was
note.
happy
Yeah.
to see he get some points. And he's just 5 million. Maybe one day he'll start playing some minutes and we can talk about him. But I'm glad I mentioned him here on the podcast.
We'll keep an eye out. I mean, Southampton don't have the best options at the moment, so
Yeah,
um, yeah. The next game is Chelsea versus Palace. And that was a 1-1 game. Did any of you guys catch that game?
I missed most of that. I was
I
just trying to
missed the
watch on
goal
my phone.
rush. I was watching the rugby that day.
I uh, I didn't catch much minutes of this game. From what I read Chelsea were not great. Um,
Mm.
and again, like we mentioned last week, that if you don't have a good game, it almost looks like you're out of the team because Madueke had a very subpar game. So
Yeah,
the ratings are, yeah, overall between both teams. Palmer got the highest rating of 7.6. He got the assist for the Jackson goal. Jackson
yeah.
scored again. It's worth keeping an eye on him.
I
Um,
don't like him as a footballer, to be honest. So like, that's why I don't ever look at him.
I still like him. I think
Yeah.
um he has the potential to be Drogba-esque. I feel he was
And
very
I think he's
troublesome.
broken that curse of the Nunez curse. So
Yeah,
this season, so I don't think he's as bad.
but yeah, I think he's worth a look at. I think
Yeah, no, he is.
he's definitely he's not the cheapest. That's the thing, but he's definitely worth a look at. I think but Palmer is the
Mm.
golden choice at this point
Yes,
in the Chelsea lineup. I wouldn't.
easy one. Yeah,
Yeah, I wouldn't look elsewhere. Um,
but I think Palace will be one to watch because I think that Trevor Chalobah from
yeah,
Chelsea is there now, so they might show up the defense a little bit more. And I mean, he was decent, I think, last season when he played from a goal threat perspective. So
he's a good
I think he
defender.
might also be reasonably priced. So I
Mm.
think he'll be a decent option
And he's
to
played
watch.
like if they continue to play three at the back, like they are lined up here,
Yeah,
he's probably
yeah,
he played comfortably there. And he got goals from there. So
yeah.
um, but they also bought
And then
a
Nketiah's there. Yeah,
Nketiah's
Nketiah's there
there.
too.
They bought another centre back as well, a 24-year-old from the Bundesliga.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh
Glasner.
yes, Maxence Lacroix.
Yeah,
Yeah, I remember that
he's
guy.
there. I just know him from FIFA.
Yes. Yeah, I remember him from Football Manager. We always used to catch him on a free from I can't remember which club he left. It was
I don't know if he's from
Stuttgart, I think.
Wolfsburg. Yeah, one of those clubs.
Wolfsburg. I think it is Wolfsburg. You're right.
Yeah, he was definitely playing for Wolfsburg.
Yeah.
To talk about my favorite team, Everton. This, I always pick the team personally,
What
but
have they done?
they played really well. I was actually surprised. So Everton versus Bournemouth, and if you look at the graphic that's up, Calvert Lewin got man of the match. He's got a goal and assist, 8.3 overall rating. Um, and Dwight McNeil also played particularly well, even though it looks like he always
He's
ends up
playing
on
and
the
he's playing as a
left.
number 10. But
Yeah,
he's been playing up as a 10 recently. But I always expected DI to play central and McNeil out on the left.
yeah,
But it looks like McNeil plays more in the center and DI is out
yeah.
wide, which
And
weird.
in fairness, like Harrison is a very much wide player. He's always far out on
Yeah,
the right. He does get a lot of balls in the box. So they're looking okay. Their defense is just bad.
that is bad.
But just to note
So can
for
we
Razine's
consider
sake,
Calvert Lewin?
yeah,
Injuries behind him now.
um,
No, I
I
don't think
bet
so.
you, when Everton start playing well, he'll be injured.
He'll get injured. Yeah.
He'll get injured just at the start. Just at the start, they'll be going on a run, and his run will stop, and then they'll stop.
Shame, man.
No, I feel for him. I do think he's a really good footballer, but he's really struggled with his injuries. Let's hope that he stays consistent, because he definitely would be a FPL option if he stays fit. Just to quickly mention for Razine,
Mm.
Keane has been getting a lot of game time for Everton. He's only 4.0. I don't know if you want to go in
I'm
the
not
Everton
keen.
defense.
I'm
No, but
not
he's
keen on an
terrible. He's
Everton
terrible.
defender.
No,
No,
it's
that guy's terrible,
basically
man.
it's basically Sean Dyche with his old Burnley centre back pairing.
Yes, that's true.
It's just, but just they're like 10 years older when Burnley were with him. Um,
Yeah.
it's just bad. But
Those were the days. Watching Dyche's Burnley defend, you couldn't beat that.
It was just weird seeing Kepa there in
that's the
Bournemouth's
thing.
goal.
Yeah,
Like I just find it so odd from Madrid to Bournemouth. What a move.
yeah. He's 4.5 and he's starting,
Yeah.
and he's
Mm,
decent as a shot stopper. Bournemouth have also got they've been okay with their defense.
yeah.
They're not the worst. They have good structure at least.
He he can't play this week though against Chelsea because he's still their
He was
player
on loan.
technically.
He was on loan.
Yeah,
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. No, nice to note that. Um, but next game would be Ipswich versus Fulham.
Liverpool
No, soon. I have Ipswich as Fulham on the screen at the moment.
just waiting to talk about us.
Um, Ipswich look good, and to be honest, the person I want to talk about as well is Delap. I don't know if you guys saw the game and the goal. He looked very
I
lively.
haven't. Oh yeah, he scored a screamer from outside of the
He
box. Yeah, I
scored a
remember this
screamer.
one.
He's taking shots. He's looking lively. He's not.
Mm,
He's definitely not one like waiting in the wings. He doesn't look like a Jackson, basically. um,
okay.
he's he's looking good, and I think he's 5.5. And when we
Okay,
get
that's cheap.
to, like, I'll have a graphic come up later about all the fixtures. Ipswich have just noted that they have the easiest run of fixtures on paper, which that I don't think is anything is easy,
Dude, that's
particularly in the Premier League. And I don't expect them
Makes
to
sense though,
go
because they're
blazing through
mainly
it.
green
Yeah.
fixtures if you look at the map.
So I'll put up the graphic, but they look like on paper, like they look like they have the easiest fixtures, and I'm looking at the lap as well. I think he's an option nobody's ever spoken about. It looks like
yeah.
he's starting. It looks like he's got lively players around him as well, making things happen. So you never know if you can just pitch in with an assist. Um, but he's one to look at. Ipswich defense, where they spoke about, so I won't waste time there. And then Fulham, just to say again, Traore looked like the best player on the field the
Yeah.
whole game. Very strong, very lively. Um, yeah. Anybody want to add anything to
I've
this
been
game?
very happy with the Robinson move, to be honest, because he's got a return in every single game they've played. So that's been quite comforting. But I'm still not convinced by Fulham. I expected them to have a much better return, or of some of the players that I selected. I thought Smith Rowe would be better. Muniz, I'm so happy I dodged, to be honest. So
I can't.
I really considered it.
I put him in
I'm
last minutes.
super happy. But Traore is odd because the problem is when you bring someone like Traore in, okay, he gets dropped eventually because he just starts becoming the guy that runs and has no end product again.
Yeah.
It's a matter of time.
Yeah, it is a definite concern. Um, but yeah, let's move on to the next game. Leicester versus Villa. To be honest, I did not catch this game at all, so I have no idea. Anybody want
I feel like
to?
I watched it. I feel like I watched it. No, 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 I didn't. I watched the previous one because this is the one where Duran came on and scored again.
Yeah,
So, this one here, which is nice. I think Bonanote, hopefully, if he can get more starts at Leicester. So he was really lively in the Spurs game in the first game of the season, and he came off the bench, and I think he came off the bench this week and scored. So
yeah,
he comes at a very decent price, and he's on loan. I think he's on loan from Brighton. So if he if he can play and get a few minutes, he's a very exciting player to watch. So I think might be at a very reasonably cheap price as well. So he'd be nice. Onana has actually been getting in the box quite a bit. I think on set pieces as well as I guess in the build-up play. So
yeah.
From Villa's side, that he might be quite an attractive option if you want a cheapish midfielder that can head the ball in um, from
Is
a
he
lot of
like
set
another
pieces.
Suchek type of player?
Somewhat,
He,
but he's just much more better in terms of passing quality, stronger in defense. I think he's overall a much better player
I would
because
I would
what
Do
he
you
say
looks
think
like
he'll give
is
consistent returns though, or just once in a while? I mean, I know we've got 2 out of 3 games already from him, but I don't know. What can we expect if we bring him in?
he's a good rotation option. That's how I see him.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the thing is you gotta note how Villa play. They're not a
Yeah,
counter-attacking team. They are very much
no,
a
they're
hold
not.
the ball and build up play. And with that, then their attackers get quite forward, but their midfielders tend to control and dictate that play. And when there's loose balls or where there's space, Tillemans, Onana, and even McGinn get those balls at the edge of
Yes,
the box. So if they're good, they're going to take those shots. And a lot of the time, if there's space to run in, those are the three players that are going to run in. Your Bailey and
yeah,
Rogers going to get the balls in. Watkins is always going to be in the center, but particularly the fullbacks are also getting forward and popping balls in, and overlapping runs from the midfield is what Onana and Tillemans and McGinn tend to do. So
yeah,
they tend to get on, like all of a sudden you'll see Luke or
mm,
the right back hit a cross in, and McGinn is on the end of it
yeah,
at the far post. So um, the they're interesting to watch. If you watch them, you'll understand, and I think he's definitely worth a pickup. Um, I still don't think he's going to get more attacking returns than
yeah.
Rogers in the long term, and
Probably not.
I think
Yeah,
Rogers is cheaper, or they might be the
yes,
same price
I
point.
believe
So
so.
it's
Yeah.
just I think
But I think Tielemans has been the one that's actually been sitting deepest of the three from
yeah,
what I've been watching,
but he's
and
been
Onana's the
on
one
free
that's bombing
kicks.
on. Yeah, he's also on set
He's on
pieces.
set
Yeah,
pieces. So Tillemans on corners and set pieces. We don't know who's on penalties because I believe Douglas Luiz used to be on it last season.
used to be on. Yeah,
But
but I
Rogers
think
took
Watkins used to
for
take some.
yeah,
Yeah, for
Rogers took
England.
for England under 21s,
Yeah,
I think.
mm,
Tillemans used to take for Leicester, so
yeah.
um
There's a few options here with
a few options, yeah.
Watkins. I think Watkins can take pens. Tielemans, McGinn, I think used to be a penalty taker previously. So they have a decent amount of options.
Just to note, Bailey went off injured. Um
Yeah.
and I think Konza went off injured in the international break.
Oh,
So
see that.
yeah. So Konza went off injured international break. So just things to note if you're looking to bring anyone in. The other thing
Yeah,
to
because
note is
I
the
think Diego
hmm,
Carlos is also injured already
yeah.
because he was injured the week before.
So yeah,
And what's
the
his flag currently? I don't know if that's just because he withdrew from the England squad or if he picked up something.
I believe so.
they
I
say he was
believe it was the
carrying
withdrawal.
something. They said he was carrying something, but not too sure.
You know, who looked reasonably good. I think it was this game or the previous game was Jacob Ramsey coming off the bench for Villa.
It was
I
this
think it
game
was
most
that game
likely
where he came on for Bailey. Yeah,
because
he
he
came
came
on
on
for
very
Bailey.
early, like within
He
the
was
first 20
very
minutes.
impressive. Yeah, he was very impressive when he
I
came on.
like him. Like I've seen him. I think
Yeah.
a season or two ago he came on and set the world alight, and then he just never
Yes. Got injured.
got injured. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Um, next game we can finally talk about is the game we've been waiting for. United Liverpool. Fernandez, but I need to get rid of him.
I
You
wish we
know,
had a Manchester United fan on here just for today.
yeah.
Just for today, I
Unfortunately.
wish we had one.
There's actually
It's a huge gutter that we don't.
it's actually it was just so calm the game. Liverpool just they were just so stable that
Mm.
you kind of had like once like I was telling Razine once 30 minutes into the game like your nerves were settled. It was just you were
Yeah.
just waiting for your team to get the goals.
Because United started okay. I think first 10 minutes and stuff, they kept the ball nicely. They got into Liverpool's half consistently. Then it all went pear-shaped from there.
Yeah, if
After
you look,
Fence disallowed goal, I think you could just see.
Mm.
yeah, you can look at the graphic up and you'll see ease again above both United's midfielders,
Mm.
Casemiro and Maino both made errors leading up to
Yeah.
goals, and I think just the midfield just outpaced them, outran them, and just outclassed them. I think that's where they lost the game. To be honest, when I look back at the game, Zerki had I think two chances, but beyond
Yeah.
that, nobody else looked like they were going to make any
Mm.
attacking returns. So it was all Liverpool really, and I was quite upset. Alexander Arnold's goal didn't stand. I was like, it's definitely
Yeah.
offside,
Pain.
but I was hoping. Just
An
It would have
iconic
made me
celebration he
felt
should have just
better.
counted, man.
um, but you know,
Oh
like
yes,
I
because he
really,
kissed the camera and his goal got
yeah,
disallowed. Oh my God, that's so funny. I forgot about that.
the
It would have been a lot worse if we'd lost. So the fact that we won is okay. You know,
Yes, that's
his
actually true.
pre-celebration to the United fans was
It could
good
have
enough.
been really, really ugly. You're right. Yeah, that's so
Yeah.
true.
yeah. I think to look at Liverpool's team at the moment, I wouldn't uh I wouldn't be far off just like everybody going triple Liverpool at this point.
Yeah.
Um,
So could be a
because
no-brainer at this point. Yeah.
yeah, particularly like if you know Salah and Diaz are starting,
Yes.
even uh Szoboszlai is starting and he's getting assists. Um, Alexander, I've seen a lot of people going Alexander Arnold, Robertson. I'm
Yeah.
still wary because of Champions League coming up. I do think both of them are minutes risk because they're so valuable to the
Yes.
team and we have such good
And
cover.
Trent has been a minutes risk since game week one, right? He's
Yeah,
been going off between 60 and 70 minutes every game without fail.
I just think Slot has him in his fantasy team. He's like 60 minutes come off.
Probably, yeah. Like give me
Bank
that
that,
six.
bank
Give
that
me that
clean sheet,
six.
bank that clean sheet. He's like, Bradley, go on, go do whatever you want.
Yeah.
I'm getting my 6 points here.
Win or lose, now it's over.
Yeah, I've
Did you
captain
guys
Salah.
pay the extra 0.5 million for Allison in goal, considering we're the only team yet to concede in the league?
Yeah,
Um,
probably. It's worth it.
I would right now. I'd take him as the premium goalkeeper because Raya, because of uh, well, Rice is suspended, but only I think it's only one game. But just based on the injuries and based on the fixtures, I'd go for Liverpool.
Yeah. But Liverpool have also looked strong defensively, so
Yeah,
saves points hasn't been ridiculous for him either. I mean, Alisson has been making a lot of
Yeah.
saves.
yeah.
I can't remember many saves that he's made throughout the season so far.
That's the thing. You're not gonna get much. I feel from him.
Yeah,
He came
you're just
clutch.
gonna
I
get a
think
six.
he comes in clutch when he is needed, but it's just
Yes,
one mad
he
save.
reminds me of Edison over the past few seasons when City had their strong
Yeah,
defensive structures where all you're gonna the thing is if they concede that one goal, you're getting two. You're not
that's
getting
the
anything
thing.
more than two.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unless you're playing City, but that
Yeah.
happens twice a year. So
Yeah.
Um, the other downside of getting Alisson as a keeper is that you lose your Liverpool assets. I think
Yes.
if Liverpool are getting 3-4 goals a game, then you have to be getting two attackers in or two players with attacking returns.
Yeah.
And it's just better to get um, it's better to get the attacking players. Diaz,
And
Jota,
even the defenders, Trent and Robertson get forward so much that
yeah,
they might get an assist in them, and Van Dijk's almost is ridiculous in the air. So he's going to pitch up with a few goals in the season anyway. So
yeah.
I think wasting it on the keeper just doesn't feel worth it.
Um, the other thing to notice
Staying on
on
this game before we move away, before you carry on, I think I might get Mazraoui in.
no, I was
I was not I'm not
just
convinced personally. Yeah.
their defense is not.
But yes, put him in. But yes, put him in.
I wouldn't.
4.5, 4.5. United want to bounce back. He's been the only decent player in that team, I'd say, or one of two or three max. And why not? Let's just give him a go. He can finally get rid of Kwanzaa.
If De
Could
Ligt
be.
plays, I don't think it's worth it. I actually think they made the bad move by playing De Ligt over Maguire. I think that was a shocking move for that game to throw De Ligt into that game when
I also
Maguire's
think
been so stable in the initial games. I thought it was
the
disappointing.
to talk about United assets. I feel defensively, I think it's a waste. I think Onana's the best defensive asset in the sense that he makes saves.
Yeah. Yes.
But actually, I was actually looking at it, and I actually think Zerki, if you're bringing in a United player this week, Zerki is the player to bring in because Southampton
Yeah.
are appalling, and
Mm.
he had a great international break. I think he got a goal, but he looks very
Yes.
lively when he played
Mm.
for Netherlands, and he'll probably do well for United. I feel like he'll probably get a fair few goals if they can provide for him. I think he's this week, yeah, in particular, I was looking to bring him in, but I have Fernandez, so there's no point, and I need to get rid of Fernandez eventually. I can't be stuck with two, two
Fernandez is
United.
going to create for him. Fernandez is going to create for him. Believe.
Just
Believe.
no, no. I'm waiting. Like I'm waiting for Fernandez to do something. Like every week, I feel like he's this is gonna bring me so much pain. He's gonna be like,
Our
he,
league is going to turn upside down. Mamadou seems to go to the top if Mazraoui and Bruno blank this week.
I hope so. I hope so.
um, yeah. I I would. I don't know United's fixtures. Let me see how many. Let's go through the rest of the games, and we'll get to the fixtures in a bit. We'll quickly go through Forest and Wolves. I don't know if any of you guys caught this game. I did not catch this
Not a
game,
chance.
but
Not a chance.
Wood Wood got a goal. Um, and I think Anderson got the assist. I don't know what's Anderson's price point, but they paid a lot of money for him
Mm.
from Newcastle.
He's from Newcastle, yeah.
Yeah. Then uh, yeah, I think Wolves.
There's
I
Wolves are being compared very closely to Everton for me at the moment in terms of
yeah.
teams to target effectively. So if I was playing Wolves, I will think watch them very closely, and then consider putting players in. I think for Forest, one player that looked quite decent as well was Morgan Gibbs White. So
He
I think
always
he's
looks good.
been decent from what I've been reading. So and I mean I think he had a goal involved I think in game week 2 or something. So he is there and
Yeah.
there. But and I also think Wood has an injury from the international break. He's carrying something. I read today somewhere.
Okay. That Awoni, their backup striker, he started last season
Yeah.
before they were in. He's also pretty
Mm.
decent. So
He's very injury prone though.
yeah,
Very, very injury prone.
Gibbs White is on penalties and he's on. I think he also takes the
Yeah.
free kicks, the direct
Yes.
free kicks. So um, like he's the safest option. But Hudson Odoi and Ilanga, they both have potential. They both touted to be
Mm.
um really good, really promising players. So this is another season for them to go. And I like their team. I like Forest's team in general. I
Yeah.
think if you have a Forest asset, then there's no rush to move anyone on
Mm.
at this point in time. That's why I'm not too keen to captain Salah this week. Um, then the next game, I also didn't catch this game, but I'm sure Monusim, you got this game. Was Newcastle vs Spurs
Ugh,
at St James
painful
Park.
watch. Painful watch.
What were
Chance
your
after
thoughts
chance
on
after
it?
chance. I think we just don't have cutting edge, and once the ball gets into the box, there's just a lack of quality finishing in this team. If you add a Harry Kane to that team, there we probably score about 6, easy.
And
And I mean
did
defensively and
Son
stuff,
did Son play through
we
the
kept
middle?
them back. No, he played.
Kulusevski
I
was
don't even remember. Kulusevski played as a 9, yeah,
yeah. I was just
and Son
wondering about that
played out.
because the
I think
It
Ange will
was a very
sort it out ahead of the
disappointing result.
derby.
No, I
He'll
think
do
the problem
something.
is we just need Solanke fit, man. I think he's gonna be a big game changer if he's fit. I think it's gonna make a massive,
do.
massive difference.
What are your predictions for the Arsenal Spurs game? Because Arsenal got big injuries at the moment, and they got suspension as well.
Mm. So I feel like with Spurs, just my history of watching this team over a long period of time. We play teams with injuries, we lose. So if teams are missing key players and have injuries, like I'd rather play them with their best team, because that's when we probably do. But once they start missing a few of their quality players, it becomes a bit problematic. I think if Odegaard plays, I think the team is still strong enough. I mean, there's no one else that I'm really thinking. Um, well, 'cause I mean, if I'm just trying to think if Odegaard doesn't play, who plays instead? Um, I haven't forgot who they've got in midfield because Marino they bought is injured.
Yeah, it's
Probably
they've because
Partey.
they've sold Smith Rowe and they sold that
Yeah,
Vieira. What? Not Vieira. It's
yeah, Vieira. It is Vieira. It is Vieira. He went to
Vieira.
Back to Porto or somewhere,
Yeah.
didn't he? Yeah, I don't
So
know what the Arsenal squad looks like, so
we
I
can.
that's
think
probably
Raheem
gonna
Sterling
be
makes his debut this weekend.
That's what everyone's saying.
no
They're saying
doubt
Sterling
it.
will start. But
I wonder.
let's see if there's anything there like Arsenal squad. Um, uh, there
Well,
was
they've still got
another.
Jorginho there, so I forget
Yeah,
that
I
he
think.
plays. So it'd probably be him and what's it called? Him and Partey probably start. But I wouldn't be surprised if they play one of those kids, that one Neri guy,
Yeah, that
because he's
Ethan
been quite popular.
Nuri. That's
Yeah.
what they said.
So if he
It's
plays,
either going to
I
be
wouldn't be
him.
surprised.
Yeah, either going to be him or Jorginho,
Mm.
according to the pundits.
Yeah, so I wouldn't be surprised if any of them start. And like these random kids that come on for teams that are in dire straits tend to really put on a good performance.
Mm.
But I think with us, if we create the chances, it's not about creating fast at this point in time. We'll always create chances regardless who we play against. It's putting the ball in the back of the net and being clinical that's going to make the difference.
On the opposite end, how did Newcastle play? How was Isak and
They
their
weren't great.
assets?
Newcastle weren't great, so a lot of their chances came on the counter, and I think they had very few chances. I think for most of the game, and it's not like they were sitting like wanting to sit back. I think they were just starved of the ball enough. So, but I mean, the chances they came, a very direct play. I think the Barnes goal, I actually missed the start of it, so I missed the Barnes goal. But the Isak goal was a tap in effectively, but a straight ball from midfield. Joe Linton rolled Madison in midfield, had the open, passed it through to Jacob Murphy. No Van de Ven to catch him. So as soon as he's not there, we look very exposed against pace.
Okay. It's good to note because most people went heavy Newcastle assets at the start of the season.
Yeah,
They haven't looked great. Um, so I'm also looking to move them along, but probably my wild
yeah.
card now.
I've watched I've watched Gordon, and Gordon hasn't looked as exciting as he did last season. But I'm actually hoping now after I think did he score for England over the over the break? Well, I don't know. I think his performances were quite
His
He
decent.
played
So
performances
very
were
well. He played
his
very
performances were
well
very
in the
good.
last
yeah,
game.
I actually think like if they should have played him in the Euros based on like his performances. It's just he
yeah.
was so much better than anybody that was
So
playing
they
for
said
England.
they said the Gordon Trent link up was quite solid over
Mm.
the international
Trent
break
was
because
on
he
fire
gives
for
him he gives him the
England.
space. But I think that's where Trippier probably becomes much more effective when he plays, right? Because
Yeah,
he's also got reasonably decent quality in terms of passing and the like. So
yeah.
not as obviously nowhere near Trent. I mean, he gives them an option, then probably releases Gordon much more compared to a
No,
Livramento or Digne.
he's
Because
I guess like if you have to compare, Trippier is probably more on Trent's level than anybody else in the league. But and Eddie Howe has actually come out and said this week that he wants to keep Trippier. They've rejected multiple offers from the Turkish league for a loan move, so it looks like they're trying to keep him. I don't know what's the issue there. I don't know if he wants to leave or, but it looks like he's staying. It looks like they want to keep him. Eddie Howe wants to play him, and like I mentioned it last week as well. Trippier is an asset for FPL managers. Like
yeah,
he's uh he's a great defender and he's on set pieces. He's on free kicks. He gets goals, gets assists. Um,
he's involved always.
yeah, he's a leader on the field as well. So he's a definite asset to Newcastle as a whole. Um, the last game, just to note, before we go into the fixtures, is West Ham versus City. We did get a Bowen assist, but no haul this time. Like
Mm.
uh, I was surprised at actually how well Haaland played. Um, he looked he looked deadly. Like
He looks
he's
fit though, right? He looks fitter than what
yeah.
he looked last season.
He
Yeah.
looks like he's his finishing has gone up a level, and he looks
Mm.
like he's not only just tapping the ball in at this point. He's working with
Yep.
the team. He's finding great positions to run into, and he's just looks very deadly at this point. Like I don't know how any team can go without Haaland at this point.
So there was a big stat last season that said, obviously it isn't very accurate this season, but Haaland, whenever Doku played instead of Grealish, Haaland's returns would go down dramatically. And the fact
Yeah,
that Grealish was back in the team again on that left hand side, even though Doku played on the right instead, I think it gave much more. I think he feeds Haaland a little bit better, or probably takes players out of the game much better than what Doku would, for example. So
yeah.
I think the difference that he makes also in that team to just give Haaland space to play is quite a difference. And it was a very popular theme, I think, the last season.
The other big talking point from City is Rico Lewis.
Yes,
Like obviously he's coming in 4.5. I'm sure he's gone up 4.6, 4.7 at this point in time, but he's playing in the midfield or kind of right wing back. Um,
yes.
eh, well, like what are you guys' thoughts on it? In terms of his minutes and that, because Walker came on, but Walker came on for Cavalier, I think, in the game.
Yes,
Hake
yes.
now
And then they,
got a big injury
yeah.
in the international break,
Oh,
so it's looking more set in Enrico Lewis's favor to stay in the team.
I expect Walker to play Champions League more, to be honest, because I think Pep will want him fitter for those games and probably play Rico Lewis in the league because I mean he started 3 games and he's looked like he fits into that team quite nicely. So until he makes a mistake that is probably very big, I expect him to
Kwanzaa-esque mistake.
get yeah, yeah, probably probably at least maybe 2 out of every 3 games while they've got so many competitions happening. But maybe and I know Pep's played him previously in the Champions League as well, so I don't know. I know he loves Walker, so that's unfortunate. But I think Walker's legs are starting to go also now. I mean, once he loses his speed, doesn't really add much value to the team any longer.
Yeah,
So
I guess I
Okay, so
think
maybe
it's
I was looking on the wrong side of Manchester for my Kwanzaa replacement, and maybe Lewis is the way I will go.
and
yeah,
Walker also hasn't been fit, right? I mean, his first game post the Euros was coming off the bench on game week 3. So, and
Yeah,
he didn't even go for, he didn't get called up. I think Lewis got called up instead. So,
Lewis did.
like, I
Yeah.
wouldn't be surprised to see Walker starting this next game.
yeah. I don't know. Like I just feel like based on it,
Pep roulette.
L- Lewis is going to be another game, but you never know.
Yeah.
You never know with this.
Pep roulette always hurts. Always hurts.
Yeah. Um, but that's it from. I don't know anyone to talk about West Ham because um, I guess they also they put up a good game in all fairness
Yeah.
against City. I do like the defense. So
Mm.
we'll move on to the
Eh,
fixtures. So I don't know if you guys have. I sent you the
yeah.
fixture list, and it's kind of
Mm.
color coordinated and graded. It's going from hardest to easiest. So technically, Bournemouth. I think that is Bournemouth. Bournemouth, Arsenal, Brighton, Newcastle, West Ham, and so forth. So those start off with the hardest fixtures, going down to the easiest fixtures. Um, the main thing I wanted to note was that Ipswich, they have great fixtures coming up, and we
Yeah.
noted the lap as option. Their defense is cheap defenders. Everton would be next on the list. They have Villa next, but after that they have Leicester, Palace, Newcastle, Ipswich, Fulham, Southampton. Like it's quite quite good looking fixtures. That's why we're also looking at Calvin Lewin. Um, so it's just nice to note in this one. Do you guys tend to look at this when planning your teams, or is it just you'd rather look at which teams are on form currently. Um,
Both, but I probably don't look as far in advance. I use probably look 3 to 5 games usually, and then plan from there. But the it's unfortunate that Ipswich and Everton are the two options because it's teams that either both of them haven't won a game yet. I don't know if they've picked up a point yet, right? So far in the season, are they bottom of the table? So that's unfortunate. United,
Manchester United.
yeah, United looked great from game week 7. Sorry, from game week 8. They've got a decent run there, which might be very appealing. And Leicester, surprisingly, after game week 7, look quite decent. So there's some decent opportunities there to probably load up on some players.
yeah, Razin, any
Even
thoughts from
Brentford,
you?
after these two games, it's incredible. I like looking at fixtures. I think the colors makes it easier to look at fixtures than form sometimes. You just see all those greens and you're like, okay, I'm going with this team, you know? So yeah, I definitely agree. You have to look at both, but I think fixtures are important. But same here, 2 to 3 games at a time. I don't usually look this far ahead because obviously we still got that wild card coming up and stuff. So yeah, but this is actually very, very interesting to look at now because it just gives you a lot of perspective and planning ahead always works. So yeah, why not?
And just particularly for the next game week, Bournemouth, Chelsea, Arsenal, Spurs, Brighton, Ipswich, Newcastle, Wolves, West Ham, Fulham, Villa, Everton, Liverpool, Forest, City, Bradford, Southampton, United. Like, which fixtures are you guys looking at? Which fixtures are you targeting? Um, like our teams are pretty set.
I have nothing to think about anymore. I've done
Yeah.
my transfers. I've closed the shop. Now we just a matter of whether to play Nkunku or not.
Um, I guess it's worth a punt. If he comes off the bench for 1 point, then forgive me, but
And then Rogers or Smith Rowe, whoever I decide to bench, goes and gets a madness goal and assist, and then I'm just sitting regretting my
um,
existence.
I'd play Rogers. It's against Everton
Yeah, no
for me.
hundreds.
Yeah, Smith Rowe.
But both have home games, so but hopefully
Yeah.
West Ham have been doing well, so benching Smith Rowe hopefully works out, and Kilman does the madness there.
Yeah, I rate him. I think he's a great defender.
Yeah, no, he's.
Even that defender for Brentford. I'm looking at him for the upcoming fixtures. That Collins. He's just
I'm not a
such a
big fan of him. I think that guy's got too many mistakes in him, man. I
seriously.
don't like him.
I
I
think
don't
he's
like him.
great. I think he's like I think he's quite a stable centre back. Um, particularly when you're watching Southampton and Everton.
Yeah.
uh, but yeah, obviously I'm looking forward to the Liverpool game because I think like if Liverpool can continue, every week that Liverpool does well is just another sentiment to get more Liverpool
Yeah.
players in.
I'm tripled up now, so I'm all in.
Who do you have? So you have Salah, Jota,
Salah,
and Trent.
Jota, and Trent. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking to get. I really feel like Konate is the one, just because at the price point of 5, he is kind of a goal threat at set pieces. He does get up, but he's just so stable. And I think with clean sheets, I'd rather double up on my clean sheets than miss between Diaz and Jota because I feel like
Yeah,
Jota's going to
that's
score
true.
1 week, Diaz is going to score the other week, and I'd rather just be stable with my defense.
And
But
Champions League rotation might cause much more havoc there, where
yeah,
it might not be as bad in terms of defender rotations.
City is always hard to predict, but if you can get 3 City assets in, it's always good as well. It's just
Hard to get
impossible.
two at the moment. Yeah, it's hard to get two at the moment. So
Yeah.
three is a long shot.
Um, yeah, let's hope it's a good week. We all above average this week and then hopefully get above average again. And we look at the famous 5 team. I wonder who he's gonna captain this week.
Uh, I wonder what transfer because he looks like he makes very, very interesting transfers, man. I
Yeah.
look forward to probably something like let's see what's an interesting fixture that he um might target. Maybe a Morgan Rogers captain against Everton or something crazy like
Well,
that.
let's
I look
just see
forward
his
to
team
it.
again. I don't know.
You
He's
know, we
not.
should try and get a hold of him. Maybe get him on
He's
here.
actually
Have a
tripled
chat
up
with him.
City, but he's actually tripled up City, right? Which is
Yeah,
amazing.
he's got De Bruyne and Haaland and Salah. I
Yeah,
think I don't know who he's going to captain. Maybe Welbeck. My prediction would be captain's
possibly.
Welbeck. That's
And
my.
doesn't make a transfer at all. He changes his keeper or one of his defenders and probably brings an Ipswich defender there. What's that fella's name? Greaves or something, and then a couple of bullet headers there.
I wish, like, he's in the Super Sport broadcasting. I wish he was South African. Like, it was so nice to
Yeah.
get him on the show. But yeah, let's leave it at that. Thank you guys for the show, and next week again.
Cool guys.
Thanks, guys. See you next week. Cheers for now.